Hey guys, I'm Savina. Welcome back to the Witching Hour. As you can see, spooky season is upon us, and I figured very fittingly enough, let's talk about Harry Potter's most hated villain. Before getting into it, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button, and if you do, thank you so much. Now, I said we're going to talk about the most hated villain from the Harry Potter series. Now, for a select few, that may be Voldemort. But without me even saying who it is, I would expect most of the Wizarding World community to kind of be on the same page, or at least from what I've seen and what I know, and even how I personally feel. Most hated villain award goes to none other than Dolores Umbridge. First of all, I think we just have to say amazing job by Imelda, sorry if I said that wrong, Staunton, who brought Umbridge's character to life. I think she did an amazing job. So well, in fact, that now if I see her outside of Harry Potter and her character is Umbridge, I still have like this strong connection. I associate her hands down with Umbridge, and I kind of dislike her sometimes, which she just played her character so well. So that aside, I kind of wanted to dig into her character itself a bit more and see what I can find. I did know a few things, but not everything. So I did some digging, and you guys let me know if you knew any of this, if any of this is new to you. I was kind of hoping if I learned a little bit more about her character, I would get a better sense to why she is pure evil in a bow. So let me know what you guys think. So when it comes to like her childhood, which I guess all of this stems from, okay, she had her father was Orford Umbridge, and he was a wizard who worked at the Ministry of Magic as, I want to say, magical maintenance. And her mother, her name was Ellen, and her mom was actually a muggle. Now, she also had a younger brother who was a squib, which I didn't know. I don't even know his name. I couldn't even find his name, actually. If you know it, comment down below. So, her parents apparently did not have a happy marriage. From what I know or I've read, her father didn't really have much drive or ambition. He was very comfortable as magical maintenance, and that's what he continued to do. She despised her parents. Her brother, again, had no magic. Herself and her father blamed her mom, Ellen, who is a muggle, on the lack of magic for her brother. Which, I mean, I guess maybe it's possible, but that doesn't mean it's entirely her fault, because you do have wizards born into muggle families, right? So, I don't know. Anyway, I guess things got so bad that at the age of 15, her parents actually split. And when her parents split, she went with her father, and her brother went back to the muggle world with his mom. And from the age of 15, she has not seen or heard from her mom or brother at all. So after that point of her parents splitting, from that point on, her story, or what she told everybody she met, was that she was pureblood. She, however, was a very ambitious person. Right out of Hogwarts, she got an internship with the Ministry of Magic for, the improper use of magic. And here's the thing, at that age, at 17, she was already said to be prejudiced, sadistic, judgmental, and pretty evil. From what I've read, she advanced her way by taking credit for other wizards' work, and eventually she became head of the Department for Improper Use of Magic. She eventually worked her way to becoming management of the Department of Magical Law Enforcement. And at this point, so she's really advancing in her career. Her father was still actually working at the Ministry of Magic as maintenance, and she kind of forced him into early retirement to not like tarnish her name. She was ashamed of, who he was, what he did. So she kind of pushed him to retirement and I guess gave him enough to sustain himself. At least she did that, I guess. Anyways, after he was retired, when anybody questioned her magical background or her blood, or even when anybody mentioned Orford Umbridge, which was her father, of course, and asked, like, hey, wasn't that your dad, the maintenance guy who used to clean up around here? She would hands down deny it. One, so she would deny it. Two, it is said people who questioned her background, her family, or her bloodline, anything she did not like to talk about, bad things would happen to them. On top of that, not only did she deny being related to her own father, she lied and she claimed that her father was dead. So yeah, pretty horrible person. So then people quickly realized, I guess, to stay on her good side, for you to be okay at the ministry, to just not question her. You do not want to get on her bad side. So they accepted her bloodline status as pure blood, and they kind of just went about their way just to not cross lines with her. Now the next part I thought was pretty interesting, which I didn't know. I didn't even think, she was just so evil, I just didn't even think that would cross her mind, but I guess, as you'll see, it's power driven too. She did attempt to get married or have a husband because she figured she could achieve higher status and power and security if she married somebody with a higher status as well. But she was never successful, which that doesn't surprise me. Nobody wanted to marry her. It said one glass of sherry would unravel who she really is, and she'll show her true colors, and nobody could kind of accept just how evil she was. When she showed her true colors, nobody liked her. So yeah, she never got married, and from there she just continued to get bitter as she got older. And that's where they say her love for, they say more girlish accessories or things became stronger. So her love for pink and bows and kittens, although apparently she doesn't like real cats or kittens, but she thinks they're cute. So her obsession with those things kind of just grew and grew. So when it came to her making her way to Hogwarts, so at this point Cornelius Fudge is in power. He's the Minister of Magic, right? He's already paranoid and anxious when it comes to Dumbledore, thinks Dumbledore is completely wrong about Voldemort, is afraid, and he also actually has this theory in his head that Dumbledore's trying to supersede him. So in comes Dolores, and she plays on Fudge's fears and anxiety and even his vanity a little bit. So she's able to make him think that she is the only one he could trust. If he sends her in there, he'll be okay. He's safe, he's in power, and Dumbledore won't get on with his craziness. So finally we see her at Hogwarts itself, and she is designated the Inquisitor, right? And this is the point when she gets to Hogwarts is where she's able to kind of unleash her pure evilness, who she is as a person. She didn't really hold back anymore. She didn't really try to camouflage it. Of course, she stepped out of bounds and out of her power or what she was told she can do. She didn't really care. she's kind of power hungry, self-motivated. She was just kind of on this power wielding trip, and she was after, or felt like she had to make her point for people who didn't really, how do you say, pay her dues, I guess, in a way. She always thought she was looked over, and now she's in a high position of power. Now, despite everything we saw, right, it's kind of hard to believe she was able to make her way back into the ministry. So what ends up happening is, after Fudge is forced to resign, or he resigned, right, new power came into the Ministry of Magic, and she kind of wheeled her way back in. There was so much else going on that she was never held accountable for what happened at Hogwarts. So she was able to take back her old position, and that was kind of that, until obviously the rise of Voldemort and his followers, which there's a lot more information that I found, and I didn't expect to find this much information, so I'm thinking I'm gonna kind of leave it here today. So that's kind of her backstory, how she got into Hogwarts, and for the love of God, how she managed to get back to the Ministry of Magic. But I think her story is an interesting one. And I thought maybe after learning more about her history that I would sympathize with her a little bit, but I don't. I still just see her as really evil. She's just pure evil. And I will say hands down, when I see it across the wizarding community, she is the most hated villain out of the entire series, like hands down. I think people kind of maybe even sympathize with Voldemort a little bit in a way, but when it comes to her, it's just, there's no explanation for how evil I think she turned out to be. I don't know. Obviously, Voldemort's a horrible person too, but for some reason, it's like unanimous that everybody cannot stand Umbridge. Like, even saying her name, if you don't picture her right away, or you hear her little, her like, that thing, I don't know. Tell me what you think. Is she your most hated villain? Do you disagree? Do you hate Voldemort more? Did any of this make you sympathize with her? For me, no. I'm just like, holy crap, she's pure evil. This was actually really fun to do. Like I said, I thought it was a fun note to kind of bring in my October vibes. Why not talk about villains a little bit? Tell me what you guys think. If you have anything to add, please let me know. And with that, stay tuned. I have so much planned for October. So much. A lot of fun stuff, a lot of spooky things. Maybe I'll do a little bit more villain stuff. Let me know. And with that, again, I hope you guys are doing really well. And until next time.